Hello everyone, welcome to the JD Theory. Today we are looking at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'll be going over my 5 favorite movies in the franchise, and yes, this list is ranked. Now, I must add, I will be talking freely about all of these films. Yes, spoilers will be in this video. If you're not comfortable with spoilers, pause the video between each entry and go and watch the movie. But for those of you who are all caught up on the MCU, this is for you. Now, before I get to the actual list, there is a few movies worth considering that didn't quite make the cut, but deserve an honorable mention. Now, as for the honorable mentions, I have 3. It wasn't easy to narrow it down to 5 in the main list, so of course, I have to throw a bone to these 3 films, first of which being Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 is picking up right after the Avengers, and we get an anxious Tony Stark who he needs to rebuild from scratch essentially. While being in the state he's in, he's seeing bombs from terrorists known as the Mandarin. We learn that the Mandarin is just a cover-up, while scientist Aldrich Killian is creating regenerative technology with superhuman strength. And this would lead to an awesome battle with Iron Man suits fighting against extremist-powered soldiers. Now, while this film, it didn't quite make the cut, it still serves as a very satisfying conclusion to the solo Iron Man films, as well as being a great standalone film. Next honorable mention, we have Avengers Endgame. That's right, the Marvel movie that would topple all box office records and set the world on fire barely missed my top 5 list. And in the post-world of Infinity Wars, it's very barren. Ant-Man would have the rest of the Avengers enter the quantum realm as the team goes into the past to beat Thanos to the stones. Thanos, of course, would catch wind of the plan while in the past, and we're led to the highest stakes battle in the entire franchise. Endgame serves as a conclusion to this era of the Marvel Universe, but purely as a film, I still think MCU has better offerings. As for my final honorable mention, I have Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, yes, I'm aware this film isn't everybody's cup of tea, and I'm sure many of you watching wouldn't have this film near your top 5, but personally, Age of Ultron has always been one of my favorite films in the franchise, and a lot of that is chalking up to Ultron's character himself. He's born of Tony Stark's global defense AI, and he becomes sentient. Ultron's conclusion is that in order for world peace, humanity must be wiped out. And it's one of the best battles against Ultron's robot army. Also a sick plan to crash a meteor down to Earth using the capital of Sokovia and lifting it up into the sky. I thought the whole thing was super unique. And Ultron's intelligence and level of threat was really felt. Even foreshadowed Thanos and saw himself as a more capable defender of the Earth. The small details really pop in this movie. But, all in all, these movies would barely miss my top 5 list. And to make it into a top 5 with a franchise with great films, there needs to be that extra special touch. And I'd say every film from here on out you can truly be blown away by, starting off with the number 5 entry. Spider-Man No Way Home cracks the top 5. This movie accomplished so much and is very rewarding for longtime fans of Marvel media. With the reintroduction of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Mans, we are all caught in this universe merging moment where all of the Spider-Man's past enemies are back. And not only are they back, they're all working together. This film really hits that nostalgic part of my brain in the right way, especially seeing Tobey in that role again. There was something really special there, and this movie was special, and in my mind, it was kind of the last hurrah of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's right, this is the most recent film on my list, and I truly feel nothing has topped this since. Now, with that being said, let's jump over to my number 4 entry. And yes, that's right, the one to start it all, Iron Man. Before the idea of a Marvel Cinematic Universe even existed outside of a producer's office, we just had an amazing standalone superhero movie with the main man himself, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. And this movie is a classic example of I can watch this anytime. Complete cohesive story, and Tony working with the military. He gets kidnapped, building this makeshift suit in captivity, and he has to escape. And yes, this movie doesn't have the galactic scale we'd approach in later entries in the franchise. It's tight, consistent, charismatic, and a standout film that is a foundation for the franchise. I remember when Ant-Man had first come out, I didn't even watch it. I was on a Marvel burnout around the time, and I didn't see this film till years later when I decided to sit down and watch all the Marvel movies that had been released up to that point. And now it lands at my number 3, because wow, Marvel really pulled off a great heist movie, and you could watch Ant-Man and not touch the rest of the MCU. You just have a great little story right here, because Scott Lang, he's an ex-convict looking to work, and he's recruited by a scientist, Hank Pym, to steal back some stolen shrinking technology, and using the Ant-Man suit, he's then able to shrink and grow, and even the ability to communicate with ants. Just a good fun all-around film, and I'd say the same could be said for this next entry. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy. It was revolutionary for the MCU. If you weren't a Marvel fan, chances are you had no idea who these characters were prior to this film's release. But by the end, these characters are cemented in pop culture history. That is what is special about this film. Marvel told a story so compelling that it put characters like Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon, and Groot right up there with Thor, Iron Man, and Hulk. Goes to show how far a compelling narrative, strong character work, and world building could go. Because we get a team assembled who travel to face the warlord Ronan to stop him from using the Power Stone. Also, Yondu is hunting Star-Lord for escaping him, and whose help he would help in the fight as well. And I had to bring up Yondu because he is one of the best characters in the entire MCU. Great performance by Michael Rooker. But now, we have the number 1 spot remaining. And for my number 1, I chose Avengers Infinity Wars. No other Marvel movie captures this feeling. The story is often being told by the perspective of Thanos, yes, the villain, and we see his ideas and why he wants to wipe out half the universe. He is of the belief that every galactic race in the world would thrive if there were half the people. This would make all resources abundant. He sees this almost as a divine mission, collecting the Power Stones. We switch between Thanos and our heroes as they lose every little battle for these stones, eventually losing outright. Yes, the heroes lose. Characters die. Stakes were extremely high, and they weren't met. This movie is a jaw-dropper. It subverted all expectations and took everybody watching this on a wild ride. First time I saw this film, I'm like, wait, Thanos won? And despite the narrative being built up by prior films, this is another story you can just watch without context, because the director and the writers have done an excellent job of keeping this film self-reliant. This movie, this would oftentimes just come on TV, and I'd watch it from front to back. You know, my mother loves this film, and she doesn't care about superheroes or the MCU. She's a real deal movie buff who loves her Spielberg and her Scorsese's films, but Avengers Infinity Wars it's a film just about anybody can appreciate the merits of. So yeah, I had to put Infinity War in the number one spot. Was there anything missing on the list? Should I have included something else? Let me know in the comment section below. Drop your list, and if there's any other video topics you'd like to see me tackle, drop that in the comment section as well. Apart from that, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe, and if you'd like to catch my next video, yeah, you know where to find me. Thank you, have a wonderful day, and bye-bye.